Hey guys, I'm Oxy, and today we're gonna talk about the meta PvP build in Fallout 76. If you did watch my other video, Fallout 76 PvP in a nutshell, maybe you noticed that I didn't talk about the meta build, which is the flying power armor build. The reason is because I don't run that build. That's not my fighting style. But my friend Scott is an expert in that build, so today we're gonna ask him some questions and we're gonna talk about everything that you need to know about the flying power armor PvP build. Hey Scott.
Hi Oxy, pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so my name's Scott, PSN Tenacious Scott, and I am AC130. And of course, for anyone that doesn't know what an AC130 is, in a nutshell, as Oxy just explained, it's a flying plasma build. So yeah, jetpack power armor, explosive gap plasma. That is my build. So yeah,
Yes, exactly. That's the meta build right now in
meta builds. Yeah.
in this game, and that's why I bring you here to talk about this build and in depth. So I have a couple of questions for you, right? And we're
Just
gonna
a couple.
just a couple of questions. I mean, we can start with the questions right now if you want.
Yeah,
And
let's go for it. Let's go for it.
let's do it. Okay, my first question is, what's your build? Can you explain us what's the purpose of your build?
Yep. So, in a nutshell, yeah, the AC130 build, it's power armor, flying power armor, gap plasma. It is the most overpowered build in the game. I mean, it has been for a good while now.
At least for a year, close to a year by now.
Yeah, at least, and it's becoming increasingly popular. Even amongst like some of your best commando builds, they're actually switching to power armor builds. Primarily AC130 builds because they see that that's where the meta is at. It's running power armor is just it's understandably far tankier than running regular armor.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that back in the day. Everybody was saying that.
It didn't used to be like that. Yeah, it wasn't always like that. Like even back originally, when you were running like Cavalier's armor and Sentinel armor,
Exactly.
it was 100% effective. But now, since it's been nerfed to 75% chance for it to work, whereas there was none of that before. Like
basically, if it's not proccing all the pieces, you're gonna get burned down.
Yeah, that's it. But back in the day, it was like, if you came up against someone with 100% with a full set of Sentinel armor, they took no damage.
Yeah, like you could have Ghoulslayer Sentinel didn't matter just to be Sentinel because it was suppressing the damage like nothing. But these days, power armor is just much more better in PvP. Right.
Yeah, nowadays, and there's many benefits to running your power armor as opposed to non-power armor. I mean, the main one is you've got a standard resistance, providing you pick your power armor wisely. You've got a flat high resistance, and with the meta currently being energy weapons,
if I'm not mistaken, power armors have a hidden damage suppressing ability, which we know about from the game files.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, just generally, don't know where it came from, but yeah, you sponge a lot of damage. Even with resistances aside, you do sponge a lot of damage. But then the main benefit of running a power armor build as well is the fact that you can constantly take stims with no animation.
Exactly, that's a big advantage. Yeah.
But I mean, overall, the purpose of my build is to be king at PvP, be one of the best at PvP, because primarily the AC130 build was an anti-commando build. It was an anti-Stealth Boy Tesla build.
Exactly.
Yeah. and it just caught on because before this, the meta was Stealth Boy Tesla. Like,
Exactly.
they were untouchable. So this build was made to combat that, and it's even converted, you know, some of your best, like I said, commandos or Stealth Boy Tesla builds to convert to, you know, an AC130 build
Yeah.
because it's unstoppable.
Yeah, people gonna prefer to use Tesla with Stealth Boy in power armor these days, not with Sentinel armor.
Absolutely. But don't get me wrong, you do get a lot of power armor commandos as well. And power armor commando can work just as well as an AC130, providing you're running the right weapons. You know, primarily a good explosive laser. But it has similar benefits. The only benefit you don't have is, you know, ammo capacity and power. However,
Right.
you know, skill can make up for that. But we will touch on that a little bit later on. You know,
Right, so basically the best advantage of the power armor using is the stim pack spamming, that you can spam multiple stim packs and you don't get in the stim packing animation like when you're out of power armor. So for example, if you have 1,000 stim packs on you, you can spam 20 one after another with no problem.
You could probably spam about a good 10 stims by the time it would take you. It would take a commando to take one stim.
Exactly.
So
Now,
that's it.
that's an advantage about it. Now tell me a disadvantage about this build. From what I heard, it's really aid consuming, a power armor heavy build, a PvP one.
Resource. Yeah. It's very sore on resources. You know, all the way from the fusion cores to, you know, the AP aids that it takes to, you know, keep you flying. You know, like your razor grain flour or canned
Stim
coffee.
packs.
Consume a lot, yeah. Stim packs because you have the ability to take so many stim packs. You do it.
You do it, yeah, exactly.
Providing you've got the stock. Yeah, it's just too inviting. Hey, I'll just spam stim pack 20 times because I can. When you don't even have to, it just becomes fucking habit. You know.
So basically, the disadvantage is a lot of aid consumption in a short period of time.
Yeah, a lot of that, a lot of resources in terms of fusion cores, yeah.
Exactly, fusion cores, stim packs, basically everything.
To put it into perspective a little bit, like your average PvP can last anywhere between half an hour to an hour, but even much longer than that. Yeah, but your average sort of random PvP, between half an hour to an hour, I can use maybe 20, 30 fusion cores. Easy.
Oh, that's really a lot of fusion cores.
It's heavy. And, you know, there is the option of running, like, power user perk card,
but you miss out on other perks that are useful in PvP.
Exactly. So, I mean, we'd love to run all the perks, but unfortunately we can't. We've only got a certain amount of perk points that we can use. So, with great power comes great sacrifice.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about in my video, that I would like to have in my endurance like Life Giver, you know, and Campfind, and also Ghoulish, all of them are max level, you know, but we just can't have everything. That's the issue.
It's the nature of the beast, unfortunately, but that's why, you know, to make a really good solid PvP build, it does take a lot of time and effort, and it takes a lot of trial and error, a lot of testing, and there is no definitive PvP build.
Yeah.
It's about what suits you, what works best for you. You know, like I've been constantly chopping and changing my build up, but now I'm finally happy with my setup to the point where I feel like I don't need to change anything. All I need to do now is focus on ranking up my legendary cards.
Yeah.
To add a few extra cards in there as and when.
Is that the build that you showcase in your video? Is that the Dawn build that you are running right now?
Yes, precisely.
Okay, so I'm gonna link that video in the description so people can check what are you talking about, because I did watch it and I know that you explain over there how perks are working. So I'm just gonna link it down and people can check it. Your build, if is that
Awesome.
that is the build that is done that you're running right now, right?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. I gave away, you know, a couple of secrets that a lot of your top PvPers don't like to talk about. They
Yeah,
don't like to give away their secrets.
exactly. That's a
But
thing that people don't like to talk about their builds. You know, if they know something that another player don't know. But here's the thing: we know that the PvP in this game is broken, have issues, and it's very unfair. But can be
yeah,
fun. Can be really, really fun. That's one of the best
I mean,
thing about the
it's not a
PvP.
case of it can be. It is fun. It is fun, but
Exactly.
it depends. It depends on your mentality and how you embrace the challenge. But
Exactly.
the main reason why I don't hide anything is because I prefer a fair fight to an unfair fight, and
And you get both in this
I would
game.
rather help. Yeah, I would rather help more people become better PvPers so that there's more competition. Because anybody that plays Fallout 76 on the PS4 that's remotely interested in PvP knows who the PvP guys are.
Exactly.
Yeah, knows who the main clans are, and you know, and they've been unchallenged for the longest time. You know,
Yeah.
but the more upcoming good PvPers there are, these guys will be challenged, and it'll breathe a bit of life back into the game again when there's nothing else to do. Right, that's what happened with me. Yeah, I was always a PvEer. Yeah, I grinded this game to death.
Exactly.
Eventually, I get so sick of it. You know, the only thing left for me was turn to PvP.
Yeah, to try something new. That was the same thing with me. Like, I just get bored, and one day I start to get interested in the PvP, and this is how it starts, you know. I still like all the grind and everything in this game, but now I have also an option to PvP and have some fun.
Yeah.
So that's good.
It's absolutely, and it helps the fact that, you know, I've always been surrounded by PvPers. Like, my closest friends in this game who I've ran with since early on, you know yourself, Daz, Big
Yeah.
Dog, you know, all these guys, they've always been PvPers when I wasn't. So I've always been surrounded by PvPers. So I understood quite a substantial amount about
Yeah,
the
so
PvP game
basically,
before I
if you
got
want to start
properly into it.
PvP, just just talk with your friends, convince your friends, and you're gonna have
Yeah.
fun. Okay, we're
But-
gonna go to the next question now.
Yeah.
So we talk about what's your build, advantages, disadvantage, of course.
Yeah.
And my next question is gonna be which power armor and why? And
power
after that, I would like to know which is the second one that you recommend for just a normal player that is gonna start now PvP.
Cool. So, I mean, obviously, you want to be running the best, tankiest armor in the game. Right now, for power armor, it's the T65.
Right.
Yeah, it's the T65. There is a lot of what's the word? There's a lot of
have a lot of ballistic and energy resistant.
No, there's a lot of conflict between like that and the Strangler Heart.
Right.
But at the end of the day, the best resistance is your T65 in terms of ballistic and energy resistance.
At least
that
for
means
now.
a lot. Yeah, it is for now. Yeah, definitely. Strangler Heart, it doesn't have anywhere near the resistances that the T65 has, but it does offer that set bonus with the acid damage.
Which can be useful.
It can be useful, but
to detect your
so
enemies.
Yeah, not so much now since it was nerfed. It was nerfed heavily.
Exactly.
So if you're fighting a full health build with Strangler armor, the acid damage ain't going to do much. They're just going to tank it. However, the Strangler Heart is still very viable against a bloody build because that acid can be the decider.
Especially if they don't run funky dudes to reduce poison damage.
Which isn't a generic PvP card, so chances are they won't. Yeah, exactly. But watch out for the food builds. It's the quiet ones you need to watch.
Okay,
they might tag that and surprise you. But yeah, absolutely. T65 at the moment. However, obviously that's only grindable. That's only obtainable.
Exactly. That's a lot of grind over there to get that.
A lot of grind. However, the second best PvP armor in the game, which takes little to no effort to obtain, all you need to do is open a couple of presents and you'll unlock all the pieces for it. T51.
T51?
T51. Yep.
Well, I didn't
T51.
know that you're gonna recommend that one. I mean, T51 you can find it around the world on power armor chases, so it's pretty easy to get. You just need to server hop for it.
Exactly, but even at that, I mean, anybody that's opening holiday gifts at the moment unlocks all the plans for T51 to build it, and T45, so on and so forth.
So why T51B?
Because it has the second best resistances beside the T65. It didn't used to have, but back when Wastelanders was launched, there was a rebalance to all the power armor resistances. They were all nerfed somewhat, but they were all rebalanced. And from that point on, T51 became the best power armor in the game. It had the best ballistic. It has the best ballistic and energy resistance. In terms of the energy resistance, it's a very, very fine margin between that and the XO1. But in terms of ballistic, it's a way up there. So that then became the best.
You need both anyway to have ballistic and energy resistant.
Yeah, but if you're fighting meta PvPers, what you need to do is concentrate on the energy resistance, because all you fight is gas plasmas, lasers, and Teslas. So right now it's all about the energy resistance.
Exactly.
But you do get a lot of LMG PvPers as well, explosive LMG. I do have an alternative build for LMGs, but I decided that there was too much tennis going on. If I'm fighting another LMG build that knows his PvP stuff, we can't kill each other. It's impossible to kill each other, So I'm like, no, that's not for me. I'm going back to my cheese. And yeah, AC130 is my...
The LMG, it's a good weapon, but, since you're not going to shoot somebody with an LMG when he's going to shoot you with an explosive Gatling plasma, basically, simple as that.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I have achieved it, but not against the top PvPers.
Exactly, that's what we talking about.
I have bet plasma PvPers with my LMG, but
it's a difference fighting people that are spec'd for PvP and people that are not spec'd for PvP.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But yeah, so if not T65, T51, guys, all day long.
Okay, that's a good answer. Okay, now we're going to the next question, which is gonna be which mods on your power armor and why?
Cool. Well, we'll start from the ground up. So
let's start with full health. Full health. Explain to us in full health what are you using, and after in low health, because I did see you running full health and low health also.
Yeah, I can do both. I'm a diverse player. Primarily, like before the big nerf, it was always full health because you were doing more than enough damage to hit damage cap. And for anyone that doesn't know, when you're in player versus player, there is a damage cap of 110.
Exactly,
so
you can do more.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, it does not matter how much damage you're doing with your weapon. You will only do a maximum of 110 damage to a player. That was a rebalance that was patched.
That's a good change, actually.
Good change, yeah. It was. It made life a bit fairer, of course, because it eliminated, players getting killed with one shot. which I used to
Exactly.
experience
From
quite a lot back in the day. You
from
know,
bloody
fucking
builds and people
yeah.
was doing thousands of damage with a certain weapon
Like you've
and
got absolutely no chance. Like
yeah,
this was back in the day when I didn't even PvP, but I was still kind of involved in it from time to time.
I remember
Um,
those days. Yeah,
yeah, but you'd get the lever action builds. That was a meta build at one point.
yeah.
Chameleon lever action, bloodied lever action. Just sit there completely invisible and just pick off targets, one shotting everybody. Like it was
Exactly.
crazy. It was
That's
crazy.
how it was. But we did get a
Yeah.
rebalance, so those kind of things are not really possible these days. Definitely
No.
not one shot anymore.
Yeah,
And
which is a shame. It's a bit of a shame. Like I'd like them to rebalance semi-automatic weapons where they done say maybe double, triple damage, because they're semi-automatic. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah. They used to
maybe
be,
that's something for the future.
yeah, something. Maybe one day they're gonna fix them, but at this point, it's still the power armor flying. It's the best choice for PvP. In the past, we did have melee. It was popular for quite some time. Two-shot
Yeah,
explosive was really popular. Blooded was really popular for quite some time because it was doing thousands of damage. But these days, in PvP, it's really gonna go power armor, or you're gonna go old school non-power armor, probably with a jetpack anyway.
yeah. But then it's going to be a different. You're going to be fighting different PvPers then.
Yeah, yeah.
Completely different category.
Let's go to the next question. And now we want to
Well,
talk
I never
about you.
explained all my mods.
Ah, you didn't?
No. We get
Ah, we will
sidetracked.
just keep chatting. Okay.
Sidetracked. Yeah. So the mods, by default, on your legs, unless you're like extremely scarily good at inventory management, you won't need calibrated shocks. But by
Okay.
default, it's generally calibrated shocks because that gives you that extra carry weight, that extra 100 carry weight, which you need just to carry your shit. Yeah.
Right.
So that's pretty much standard for your legs, calibrated shocks. Chest is interesting, yeah. So there's a few different options you've got, PvP options, depending if you're high health or low health. So at full health, a lot of people go for medic pump, yeah. So it's an auto stim piece. When you hit 25% health, you will automatically use a stim pack,
Right.
which has the same effect as the perk card Born Survivor, which you can run at 3 different levels.
So you can run
40%,
both.
30%. You can run both, yeah. However, the only downside is to proc Medic Pump, it needs to be regular stim packs. Yeah,
It's
you
not
need to
working
run
with
regular stims.
super stim packs.
Yeah, but most people, you want to be running super stims. So
Hmm.
that's why Medic Pump isn't viable for a lot of players. I mean, there is a perk card also, First Aid, which makes your stim packs a lot more powerful, up to 45% more powerful. So if you take a regular stim running full First Aid, it's going to have the same effect as a super stim without First Aid. But I mean, it's a very fine line between what to do with this, whether you run super stims or run
You
normal
basically need to
stims.
make a compromise.
You need to. It's a hard compromise. It is a hard
Exactly.
compromise. But what I would say to oppose the medic pump is why run that when you've got the ability to spam stims whenever you want? Yeah. It's good. It is good PvP etiquette. As soon as you start taking damage, hit that stim button. Yeah, that's good PvP etiquette. So you've got an instant auto stim.
Right.
Yeah. So medic pump isn't required. It's not essential. The other alternative, which is very overpowered, which I run personally
Okay.
when I'm running full health, is core assembly.
Core
Get
assembly.
that core assembly. Get that AP regen. Yeah. So if you run core assembly on your power armor, it regenerates your action points faster than max level Action Boy or Action Girl.
So what's core assembly is doing exactly?
It's AP refresh, so it's the same as a powered, armor piece.
Isn't
But
that
it's
kinetic dynamo?
no. That regens your action points when you're taking damage,
Right.
which is good as well. That is a good one, but why would you run that when it regens your AP only when you're taking damage, when you could run core assembly and just have your AP regen all the time, with or without taking damage? Do you make sense? And I have tested it. I've tested both of those, and there's really no difference with the AP regen. So the core assembly regenerates just as fast as kinetic dynamo when you're taking damage.
Right.
So it's a no-brainer. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. Logically, assembly core is the better one. But moving on, if you're running a bloodied build, hands down, it has to be emergency protocols, because since the big nerf, emergency protocols has never been tankier. Yeah, I'm running bloodied more than I've ever done, because I am so ridiculously overpowered. I'm so ridiculously tanky now at low health. It's got a massive advantage, because any increase to your damage output now is essential, because the nerf has been so hard. Don't get me wrong, yeah, you can still fight at full health, but it's going to be a much longer fight, running at full health now. But
Yeah.
both are still meta. I'm just telling you from my experience that you do feel a lot tankier with running bloodied at the moment. And there's also the case of Nerd Rage being bugged at the moment, that it actually works at any HP. So even if you're full health, you can still run Nerd Rage and you're getting those buffs, but you're sacrificing, a higher damage output.
Yeah,
But
you need to have a good defense also and enough
you
damage.
need to have a good defense. Yeah.
So you need to make kind of yin and yang between those two to work.
Yes, but when it comes to PvP, adapt to the situation. Yeah, it's easier said than done. Comes with experience, but you got to adapt to who you're fighting, especially if you're fighting someone good. Yeah, you need to adapt. If something's not working, you got to change it up a bit. Like I done it the other night. I was fighting someone at full health, and we were just fighting for a good 10-15 minutes. We never died. We couldn't kill each other, right? And then I made a slight mistake. I messed up, and I was killed. But what I then decided to do was switch it up. So I went bloodied, changed my chest, got out the BE plasma instead of the junkies, and I went back and I farmed the guy. I farmed him.
Right.
So I ran that with Formula P, and I was just unstoppable after that. And I was still tanking just the same. Wasn't doing anything different. I was still taking my stims the way I would. I was still taking my nukas the way I would. And I was still tanking. But the difference is I was doing a lot more damage, and that gave me the upper hand.
Exactly.
So you got to adapt to who you're fighting. At the end of the day, that's how it is.
Yeah.
Can
we go to the
I think
next
that
question?
That covers the mods.
Okay, so basically, mods really depends. What are you running? Full health or low health?
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with the aid, and I really want to talk with you a little bit about the AP aid that you're using to stay in the air, and what are stacking, what are not stacking, and what are you using basically?
Yeah. So the main aid items which I use besides your stims is a variation of nukas. Yeah. When I've got stock of other nukas, The main three that I like to run is quantums, cherries, and oranges.
Right.
The main reason being, obviously, everyone knows, the stigma that surrounds quantums. Yeah, to a point, they can make you temporarily invincible. To a point. Quantums is the best, so they as long as you're running the perk card Cola Nut, which triples the benefits of your Nuka-Cola products, with a quantum, that can that regenerates 600 health and 300 AP, which is instant regen.
Exactly.
Yeah? That's instant regen.
And they're stacking.
They start, yeah, you can take as many as you want, yeah, you can just keep spamming, yeah, and you're invincible unless somebody's doing enough damage to cut through the quantums, which can be done, it's possible, absolutely. But what advantage other Nukas have is they do offer high health and high AP regen as well, not as high as the quantums, but they do regeneration over time.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why, and you can stack up to 3 Nukas. Yeah, so that's why, the term spamming comes from going into your pit boy, yeah, making sure that your Nukas are highlighted, spam some quantums, go up, spam some cherries, go up, spam some oranges, something to that idea, and then you're getting a lot of instant regen, and then a lot of regeneration over time. And when you're fighting the best PvPers, at the end of the day, would you rather spam and keep yourself alive, or would you rather not spam and just die and then come back and go at it again? Yeah? You know, it's true, a lot of people don't like it, a lot of people don't appreciate the spamming game. Well, I'm sorry, but see, most PvPers you fight, it wasn't us that made this meta. Right? It's been one single guy at one point, maybe a year and a half ago or something. God knows who it is, but he's the one that started this trend. So if you want to be angry at someone, be angry at that guy. If you can ever find out who it was. Yeah, makes sense. But at the end of the day, you follow the meta. If you want to be competitive at PvP right now, you've got to be hitting your Nukas.
Exactly. Especially in an online game when every time is changing, everything is changing sometimes. So you need to follow what is changing and to actually be good.
It's an evolving game, yeah, it's an ever-evolving game, but on the topic of you saying it's an online game, yeah, what happens in online games, you get a lot of lag, yeah, you get server lag, you get poor connectivity, right, and that's the thing, right, it's all well and good if you take, a Nuka here and there using your quick wheel, right, due to server lag, that Nuka might not fucking register because of server lag, and the next thing you know, you're dead, your Nuka hasn't worked. Whereas if you go into the pit boy and you're spamming, you're making sure you're getting the benefits of those fucking Nukas. Yeah, makes sense. So if you just take one at a time, it doesn't always work. Yeah.
Right.
So that's another problem that we're faced with, unfortunately.
The microphone is buzzing a little bit.
My microphone. Sorry, I maybe spat on it when I was getting excited. Is that better?
Yeah. It's much more better now. So what other AP8 are you using beside Nuka-Cola products?
Well, I mean, that's more for health regen, believe it or not, over AP. But the main AP item that I use is canned coffee.
Canned coffee, alright.
Canned coffee. It's quite difficult to get a hold of, and you need it in abundance. Because canned coffee can't really be farmed, unfortunately. You can find the odd can in a bin at White Springs. That's about it. It can't be farmed. So, that's why it's the result of duping.
A lot of duping, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of duping. At the end of the day, it happens. It's there to be exploited, and the people that have exploited it, thumbs up. But that's canned coffee. That's your meta AP item. The only other alternatives, really viable alternatives, is sunshine oil, which is farmable, is craftable, but it's hard. It's hard to do. But the main reason that canned coffee is better than sunshine oil, so canned coffee, that regens 300 AP, and that stacks up to, maybe 3 or 4. So you've got like 300, 600, 900, 1200 extra AP there, and that's why you can fire your jetpack up for so long. Like, I can see me flying jetpacking for a full fusion core. Yeah, that's how OP that shit can be. And that regens 300 AP per time. Sunshine oil regens 400 AP per time, and it gives you a little bit of damage resistance. However, it cancels out any main chems that you're running. So if you're running a Psycho Buff and you take a sunshine oil, it will cancel it out. Yeah, if you're running a Med-X and you take a sunshine oil, it cancels it out. Canned coffee doesn't do that. So you can stack that with the chems that you're running as well. That is the main advantage of it. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a stackable. That's why canned coffee is so good. The only other option, which isn't as powerful but it is easy to get in craft, is razor grain flour. So yeah.
Did see your farm outside, a giant razor grain farm outside. I was wondering what are you making with those.
Yeah. So just for the viewers, guys, I've got so much razor grain planted outside that when I go into build mode, I freeze up for 3 seconds every time I try and move. So you can imagine how long it took us to build this little studio. It wasn't easy. However, yeah, razor grain. So to craft razor grain flour, you need 4 razor grain, you need concrete, and you need boiled water. Yeah, some of the easiest resources to come across in the game, and that offers you 60 AP, but you can spam that. You can quick wheel it, whatever. So what I do is I've got canned coffee on one side of my quick wheel, directly opposite I've got razor grain. I try and conserve my canned coffee as much as possible because it's so rare and so expensive to get. So if I don't need it, I'll just take razor grain flour. But because you're in the air less using that, you're having to tank a bit more. So that's the only downfall. At the end of the day, 60 AP regen or 300 AP regen. Yeah, but that's your main alternatives there.
Okay.
In terms of other aid items, the only thing I could say is talk about is PvP magazines. Yeah, I don't know a lot about a lot of magazines, but the two main magazines that you do want to be running is Unstoppables 5.
Unstoppable number 5, reducing
number 5.
energy damage.
Yeah, well, it gives you 30% chance to avoid energy damage altogether. So, in layman's terms, your opponent will land 2 out of 3 shots.
Exactly.
Something to that effect.
Can be useful.
Oh, absolutely. So if you come up against any Teslas or lasers and you've got one of them magazines, eat it. And the second magazine is Tesla Science 2, which offers minus 25% plasma damage. Yeah, so it's a flat minus 25% plasma damage. It's probably the most OP magazine that a PvPer will.
I would borrow a couple of those from you.
Borrow? What,
yeah,
you plan to give them back?
Would borrow a couple of those from you because.
That's okay, dude. I'm due to get a couple of thousand today, so yeah, you're on to a winner. Not a problem, bro. I will help you out. Not an issue.
Right.
So yeah, that's the main aid items for sure.
Okay. Those are the 8. Now, let's talk about weapons a little bit because I'm really curious what weapons are you using and why. And for the people that can get those weapons, what you're going to recommend for them? Something, a good alternative for people that don't have legacies.
Cool. Well, primarily, I mean, I've got a few different plasmas. Like I mentioned earlier, it's all about adapting to the situation. But my main plasma that I run for my full health build is Junkie's Explosive. Because obviously Junkies has been meta for a good while now.
Good year by now.
Yeah. Taking over Bloodied so much because you were getting so much of a damage buff and still being at full health. So Junkies took over. Junkies took over for a long time. So Junkies explosive at full health. There's no other alternative to a full health plasma that's anywhere near it. Anti-armor explosive is your next best one, which has started to make a little bit of a comeback, but it's still not outputting as much damage as the Junkies. Again, through numbers testing and stuff like that. But anti-armor is cool if you run it at low health and you're getting that adrenal reaction buff. Anti-armor is cool. It's doing something similar to what your Junkies can do at full health. That's the kind of numbers you're hitting.
I did notice that it's not doing as much damage the anti-armor as Junkies. In my video actually I did test those, and Junkies was doing just way more better. But still really viable anti-armor these days.
So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you're fighting a food build, you could probably not even use an explosive plasma, but yeah, anti-armor, it's another good one, but it's not as viable as Junkies.
Exactly.
But then for low health, by default, it's Bloodied Explosive.
Right.
So when I'm low health at the moment, before the nerf, when I was running Bloodied, and I was running my BE Plasma, I could stack that damage up to 800 base damage. Yeah, which is just it's stupid. Yeah, it's stupid. Viable for PvE, but stupid for PvP because your damage cap is 110. So what's the point of doing 800 fucking damage and being such low health and being so susceptible to death?
Exactly.
But that's why before the nerf, your Junkies build was so viable, because at full health, I could push my Junkies plasma to over 300 base damage, and that's not including any buffs from Tenderizer, Demolition Expert, take one for the team, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you're easily hitting damage cap a lot of the time, unless you're fighting like really, really tanky players that can tank. You're doing a lot less than 110, but you're doing higher than normal. So yeah, that's why Junkies was so meta, before the nerf. But now, like I said, post nerf, you're going to be seeing a lot of Bloodied builds again, and that's coming from my own personal experience. And that's what's going to take me into my next weapon. I've now got my hands on an Executioner's Explosive Gap Plasma. So for these increasing amounts of Bloodied builds I'm going to be seeing and fighting, that's where the Executioner's is going to come in handy. Because the Executioner's, obviously, that does 50% more damage to targets below 40% health. So anyone Bloodied is going to be sitting at around 20% to 25% health. So that Executioner's Explosive is going to do stacks more damage than I will with a Bloodied or a Junkies. Yeah?
Exactly.
Because I've tested the numbers. So I think at full health, I could push my Junkies plasma to about 200. So whatever target you're fighting, you're going to be doing like 200 odd base damage, like 203 base damage or something like that. With the Executioner's plasma at full health, I was hitting 170 or 180 base damage. So if you're fighting a Bloodied build, your Junkies is still going to be sitting at 200 damage, whereas the Executioner's is going to be doing 180 plus 90, plus half of that. So it's going to be doing, 280 damage?
Right.
Something like that. 270 damage. So it's going to be doing much more than the Junkies. So that's why the Executioner's is up and coming meta against Bloodied builds. Because like I said, I'm just judging the meta. Bloodied builds are on their way back. If I'm comfortable running Bloodied again, there's 100,000 other PvPers out there that are going to be comfortable running Bloodied again. But they're going to be expecting your average Joe to tip up with a BE plasma. Like, I can tank that. There's not a lot of executioners plasmas out there. Only guys in the know. So,
exactly.
yeah, that is my third option. So, BE, EE against a bloody build, JE at full health. Nothing else. Nothing else for me.
Right, we have a couple of questions left, so we need to hurry up because we only have 60 minutes of recording also. How about spamming? I don't know for sure because it didn't say anything. So let's go with the next question. How about spamming and how spamming is working in this game? Explain this to us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I did touch on it a little bit earlier.
About the quantums.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, like I said, you have to be, if you want to be competitive, the first port of call is staying alive. And, you know, the nukas, spamming nukas is, you know, the best way to do that. Because, you know, spamming stims alone just isn't enough sometimes. I mean, there's some really good perk cards that you can run to help your stims work a lot better. One of the main ones is a charisma card called Field Surgeon. So that makes your stims work a lot quicker. Yeah. So with that initial burst, it regens far quicker. And then, of course, you've got the option of first aid as well, which makes your stims do 45% more healing over time.
Exactly.
Whatever stims you're running. They're all well and good, but like I said, they're not enough sometimes. Not enough to tank through, you know, a ridiculous amount of plasma damage or Tesla damage that's coming your way. Sometimes they're not enough. So that's why some food builds invented quantum spamming. But with spamming, it's not easy to do because it requires you to enter your Pip-Boy at an appropriate time and make sure that you've got your colas highlighted, your nukas highlighted, and just rattle that X button. If you've got yeah, I mean that's how to do it. It's the only way to survive and get back up in the air. So. People that don't spam, basically the best way to do it is when you're in a mid-air dogfight. What you need to do is just if you're taking too much damage and you feel like I need a quantum, I need to regen, let go of your controls, yeah, because while your plasma's spinning up, you won't be able to stim, you won't be able to get into your quick wheel. So let go of the controls, stop firing, and then as soon as you can, get into that quick wheel, start taking quantums on your way down to the ground. Yeah? Start taking nukas. And they'll regen your health and they'll tank you up a bit for when you hit the ground. As soon as you're hitting that ground, you want to be hitting your stim button. Take a couple of stims as well. But one thing you don't want to do is stay there. So when you hit the ground, do not be still. What you need to do is move, jump, and get back up in the air as quickly as possible. But that's for people that don't spam. But the same etiquette applies. So, you know, even when you're hitting the ground, go into your Pip-Boy, spam those nukas, and it's just going to have a much better effect than just quick wheeling a few. But that's what I'm saying. The benefit of going into your Pip-Boy and spamming that way is you don't need to worry about your plasma spinning down. Yeah? You can just go into your Pip-Boy whenever you want, and start hitting the colas. So that's why it's so effective over quick wheeling.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah, does make sense.
Yeah, because while your plasma's spinning, you can't do anything. Same with a minigun. If that's spinning, you can't do anything. You can't go into your quick wheel, you can't take a stim. So that's why the only option is go into Pip-Boy. And it is hard to do because, especially when you first start doing it and practicing with it, you're changing tabs constantly. So next time you go into your Pip-Boy, it's on a completely different tab or it's on a completely different item because you're pressing directions before you're out the Pip-Boy and you've not realised it. So that's why it's hard to get used to doing, but once you get used to it, you are one tanky motherfucker. That's all I can say.
All right.
So, I mean, it's not advised, but it is the meta. So if you don't like it, don't do it. Yeah, don't PvP, and certainly don't chat shit about the meta. You know, just embrace it, learn. I used to be one of the salty guys before I understood how PvP worked, but then now then I started embracing it, and guess what? I actually learned something, and then here I am now.
Exactly.
Cool.
Okay, let's go to the next question. What chems are you using in PvP? What is stacking? What is not stacking?
Chems. So the main two chems, what you want is Overdrive and Psycho Buff.
Psycho Buff, right.
Yeah, it's pretty standard. Like that's just the standard PvP chems. Overdrive because it gives you, the damage resistance, and it gives you a slight damage buff. I mean, it gives you a lot less now than it used to before the nerf, but it still helps. And that is a base chem. Overdrive is a base chem, so you can stack other chems on top of it. The two other main chems that you would stack on top of that is Psycho Buff and maybe Med-X to give you that, that extra damage resistance.
So these chems, they do stack. You can use both of them at the same time.
You can use Overdrive as a base chem, and then you can stack either one of the others on top. And if you go into your pit boy, you'll see them both running simultaneously. But for example, if you take an Overdrive and then a Med-X, if you then take a Psycho Buff, it will cancel out the Med-X, and vice versa. It won't cancel out the Overdrive, because that's a base chem, but it will cancel the main chems. They'll cancel out each other. I mean, how to tell what's a base chem and what's a main chem is how they're crafted. It's far too technical to get into detail, but for a Psycho, to craft Psycho Buff, you need an Overdrive and stuff like that. So that's how like that's what distinguishes base chems to main chems.
Okay.
But yeah, just take my word on it.
So basically, those two chems are the pretty standard one. That
pretty much. However, there is my personal favourite, and this is becoming the meta as well. Those aside, forget about those. Forget everything you know about PvP. Formula P. Formula P.
I know
it's not easy to get. That. Yeah. It's not easy to get, but it is farmable. Yes. If you want to know how to farm it, there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube already, and it can be farmed. But what that does is it increases your accuracy, and it stacks as well. It stacks up to 4 or 5. So it's extremely OP for Gat Plasmas, because if you look at the spread you're doing with a Gat Plasma, you're missing more projectiles than you're hitting, yeah? So therefore you're doing much, much less damage. However, when you start stacking that Formula P, it tightens your spread, yeah? And upon the third or fourth Formula P, your spread is a beam, yeah? It's a laser beam. That's how thin your spread is. So you're absolutely hitting every single projectile that's coming out of your Gat Plasma. Again, the only downside is you need to have a very good aim.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Get practice your aiming.
Because you don't have the spread anymore.
Yes, exactly. But anyone that is good at free aiming will be good at doing this. Well, should pick it up pretty easily. But don't get me wrong, it's a lot harder to fucking aim and shoot when you're trying to jetpack up in the air as well.
Exactly.
That's far harder than ground conflict. But that's where the meta's at. And I'm now a Formula P fighter, and that's why I kill more than I die these days. Before the nerf, you were still doing enough damage without Formula P. But now, I think Formula P is very, very vital. And, you know, I started practicing with Formula P before the nerf, but I couldn't quite get used to it. You know, I was running my overdrive and cycle buff more, and I was doing all right. But for the guys like Say and Stacks, massive shout out brother, who always ran Formula P post and pre-nerf, that's why you're one of the best, dude. And that's why I learned so much from you. So yeah, one of the biggest tips as well I could give to any PvPer is subscribe to other channels. Look up True Saiyan, yeah, one of the best AC130 builds in this game. I learned most of what I know from this guy, mainly just watching these videos. Watch other PvPers, watch how they do it. That's the best way to learn. Hands down. Hands down.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. So in the last part of the video, we want to showcase you guys basically, well, not some PvP because I'm gonna get melted by Scott, but we want to talk about PvP tactics and the difference between power armor versus non-power armor, and also I'm in Super Saiyan mod. So
cool. I mean, ultimately, in terms of PvP tactics, before I go any further, are you definitely recording this time?
I do record this time, yes.
Are you sure? Are you absolutely sure?
I'm absolutely sure.
Because this isn't the third time we've done this, you know. Anyway, carry on. Yeah, so PvP tactics, like, you know, over the course of the whole sort of interview, if you may, I have discussed a lot, but just to sort of solidify and, you know, explain in a nutshell, PvP tactics, I mean, one of the most fundamental tactics is always try and heal as much as possible. Yeah, so it's good practice to, you know, whenever you start taking damage, hit a stun or hit some quantums. Yeah, whether you are quick wheeling or going into your pit boy like that, or taking a stun. Just as soon as you start taking damage, do something to heal. Yeah, it'll sort of balance it out. Yeah, because you don't want to get melted immediately. Main tactic number 2 is always stay on the move. So as you can see, what I'm doing here, I am not sitting still at all. You know, even if it's ground PvP, do not stay still. It's not good practice because you're a sitting target. Then, you know, it's easier to hit, you know, a stationary target than it is a moving target, naturally. Yeah, that's a bit of an obvious one. But, you know, if you are training up to be an AC130, like when you're jetpacking, when you're up in the air, I hit the ground pretty hard there. That's because I'm not taking any buffs. However, when I'm in the air and I'm taking like canned coffee and quantums, yeah, see how much I can fly.
A lot.
That's
yes.
A lot. Yeah, a lot. This is just a canned coffee. Yeah, but unfortunately, you can only fly so high before you start dropping. What goes up must come down. Yeah, so
exactly.
That's why, you know, your AP aids are absolutely essential. Right, so I don't think of anything running. Yeah, canned coffee, less than a minute. That's going to run out any second. Cool. So this is just normal AP, no buffs. That's it. Dead.
That's about
right?
standard, yeah.
Yeah, that's about standard. And right now I'm running emergency protocols because I'm bloodied, and that's my AP just regened, right? Let me switch to the core assembly. Remember how I told you it's much faster than Action Boy?
Yep.
I'll waste it all, and I'll tell you when it regens. Now, that's my AP regened already with core assembly. Now you see the massive difference there between protocols and core assembly. It's unthinkable. But now I'm going to take a canned coffee and then I'm going to jump in jetpack. Watch how long I'm jetpacking for. Still going. Still going. Still going. Yeah, I was jetpacking for as long as it took for me to come back down. Let's try that again. Let's get a bit of height. So this is your canned coffee, yeah?
Right? Wow, that's going really up. Yes. And for quite a bit of time.
And again, it never ran out. I've just used a full fusion core and 2 jetpacks there. So yeah, that's how overpowered your canned coffee is. You need that. You need that. So, and also when you're in the air, you know, you can still keep quick wheeling your coffee or quick wheeling a quantum. That'll give you your AP back and regen your health. But the thing with the quantums is it's instant regen. So I've just took a quantum, ran out again, take another one. But I was falling too hard there. Here's what happens when I take a cherry. Cherry is regen over time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's why cherries and oranges are good to spam alongside.
So you combine
quantums.
between quantums and cherries and orange.
But yeah, base tactics. As an AC130, when you're in the air, when you're dogfighting, yeah, I'm dogfighting someone right now. Yeah, now I'm starting to come down, so I'm going to let go of everything, and because I wasn't that high off the ground there, my only option would be go into the pit boy and spam a few quantums. But you want to be taking some quantums on the way down, so that when you hit the ground and you're vulnerable, you're getting a bit of AP regen, a bit of health regen. Yeah, but
right.
when you hit the ground, so I'm going up. When I start falling, I'm going to let go of the controls and I'm going to spam some quantums. Yeah, and then I'm moving immediately. So as soon as I hit the ground, I'm moving. Right? Do not stay still, otherwise you are an easy target. So let's do that again. I'll show you exactly what I'd do in a real PvP. Right, I'm shooting. Oh, start to fall. Spam, jump, jetpack, take a canned coffee, jetpack again. Yeah? And then that's me. Got the height, got the AP, and I can compose myself. Yeah? Make sense?
Does make sense. Also, you can walk in there. Is that with bare bones?
It only happens sometimes. There's a way to trigger it. I don't know how to do it, but it does give you a little bit longer in the air. I do it accidentally sometimes, but there is a way to do it, and you can walk on air. Yeah, it's one of the more minor glitches. Hands down, I genuinely don't know how to trigger it. I just do it sometimes accidentally. And yeah, you can literally run on air.
Right.
And instead of coming down, you're going diagonal.
Yeah, I noticed that you were walking in the air, so that's an advantage again.
Yeah. Yeah. But look, when I'm in mid-air, like this is how effective your quick wheel can be. Look, I've just spammed a stealth boy in mid-air, spamming quantums. Well, taking quantums,
I can't
canned
see you
coffee,
anymore.
quantum. Yeah, like it's all just practice. It's just practice. It's learning your quick wheel, and another good tip as well: organise your quick wheel effectively so you can easily get to the main things that you use. Yeah, I've got quantums right up the top. Yeah, quantums straight up the top. Besides either side of the quantums, in case I miss, I've got orange and I've got cherry. Yeah. Directly to the right, I've got canned coffee. Directly across from it, I've got razor grain flour. Straight down, I've got Formula P. Yeah, because that's the ones I most use. So it's easiest to hit up, down, left and right than it is your diagonals. Make sense?
Exactly.
But try and keep like for like items beside each other in your quick wheel. So if you miss one, at least you're still hitting a buff, just not your top choice sort of thing. That's the best way to play it. But sometimes you need to run a bit more. You know, I run alcohol as well. I run a bit of party boy sometimes, so I keep alcohol on my quick wheel: vodka, cranberry moonshine, or mountain honey, because they offer the best max HP buffs. But yeah, you'll learn all this. Like, look back at my previous videos, I go into a lot of detail in terms of everything I use, all my mutations, all my perk cards, and it'll explain a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
It explains.
definitely put your videos in the description and your channel so
Yeah.
people can check it out. They can see
Yeah,
over there
yeah.
your build and everything that they need to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as experienced as I am now, I'm still not the best. I mean, I'd say I'm getting there, one of the best. But there will never be a best PvPer. There will never be an absolute best. Yeah, because even the best of the best win some and lose some. Yeah,
Exactly.
it happens. It happens. But to be competitive and up there with the best, it's practice, it's experience, and it's learning from the best. Yeah. So, I mean, I used to be one of the guys that was salty and hated getting beat. I just thought everyone was cheating and, oh, you're in God mode, you're in God mode. Now, I realise that some of them were actually in God mode, because some of them were just shit at PvP. But a lot of them, nah, they were just very tanky, they knew how to use their stims, their quantums, and I didn't understand it. Yeah. See, now that I do understand it, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And the biggest thing for me, when I started getting better, was not being salty, but embracing, being chill about it, giving the GGs, and asking questions. Yeah, I learned, I embraced it, and I asked questions, and I learned from some of the best. But one of the best ways to learn, because I'm a monkey see, monkey do guy, is I watched a lot of PvP videos. Yeah, so look up some videos. Some of the best AC130 builds in the game. You've got Disrupt, yeah, for X-Prey. You've got Disrupt, he puts a lot of content up. He's a good AC130 build. Saiyan Stacks, he's another really good AC130 build. I'd say he's one of the best in the game, easily. Like, that's who I learned a lot off of. I watched a lot of Saiyan Stacks. His YouTube channel is True Saiyan, TrueSaiyan, True Saiyan. Yeah, one of the best AC130 builds in this game, hands down. I learned massive amounts from just watching his videos, watching how he does things, and eventually contacted him. Now he's on my friends list. We affiliate. Now he's a good buddy. You know, had some one-to-ones, one-on-ones, and he taught me a lot as well. But I've learned a lot from some of the top PvPers in the game. Yeah, Merpdoc was one of the first 1v1s I ever done when I started getting into PvP properly and started running, you know, a proper AC130 build. You know, that's when I started. That's when I got my hands on a JE Gap Plasma, and that's when things started changing for me. And I made my build around my weapon. And now that weapon is not as viable as it was, thanks to the massive nerf, and that's why I'm running Bloodied a lot more. Hence, I was talking about, you know, watch the increase in Bloody builds coming back, and then try and get your hands on some Executioner's weapons, because they're meta against Bloody builds. Up and coming, known meta. But yeah, how to beat us. Just learn. Yeah.
Get good.
Get good. Get better. Get experience. Get the practice in, and just learn what we do. And yeah, add your own little twist or style. You know, add a little salt and pepper, and then go out there and farm. But yeah, you win some and you lose some. But yeah, don't be salty. Just get good.
Exactly. That's the main point, to have some fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's what PvP is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be toxic, but there is too many people out there that make it toxic. And they're the assholes that need farmed. Yeah. But if you're a food build at this moment in time, but you're interested in getting into PvP properly, just embrace. Like, I can't say it enough. Because that's the way I was. Like, I see a lot of these guys that I farm, and you know, they're not PvP ready, and then, you know, I start getting all the salty messages and, you know, the salty area chat, and
You're hacking.
oh my god, Yeah, you remind me so much of me like a year ago. Like, you remind me so much of me. Trust me, it's not all like that. You might think we're cheating and we're glitching. Nah, it's just the items that are available to you in game. If you use them correctly, it'll make you tanky. It'll make you OP, and it's all about following the meta. If you want to PvP, but you don't like the idea of spamming nukas and all the glitch stuff, and that's fine. You do you PvP your style, but play at your level. Yeah,
Exactly.
you'll never be able to challenge the bigger PvPers, because that's the meta. If you want to get up there and challenge some of the best, then you need to follow the meta. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. What do you think, Oxley?
Yeah, I think this is a really good answer, really detailed answer. So I think this is it, guys. You can find Scott channel in the description. His build also in the description, and probably we're gonna collaborate much more in the future.
Yeah.
Not like that.
Nah. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Check out the links. Oxy, he'll put up my channel. He'll put up my PvP build showcases. My original one, and then my latest updated one. And check them both out, guys. Please do, because there's more detail in one than there is in the other. But you'll see how much my build has evolved and developed from maybe 5 months ago when I put up the first one to my most recent one last week. Yeah, so have a look at that, and you'll see the development there. But you can't become a good PvPer overnight. Takes time, takes practice, but stick at it, guys, because at the end of the day, PvP is practically the only thing left in this game now for the vast majority of players, because most of us have been here since beta, including myself. And if PvP is all that's left, we need a bigger challenge. We want other players to get better. We need a bit more competition at the end of the day. So please do, guys. Yeah, Oxy, you've been a great host, dude, and I appreciate you having me on here.
I appreciate you come here and talk about this.
Anytime.
So I guess this is it, guys. This is everything about the flying power armor build.
The flying rat.
Well, I like
Yeah,
to call it flying power armor build.
Yeah.
But how you say it sounds much more fancier.
Yeah.
Alright, guys,
accent.
this is it. So, subscribe to Scott's channel and to my channel. You can watch his videos in the description. And obviously, don't forget to press the like button for this video. And see you guys in the next video.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy.